Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back. In today's video, I am going to be working on a Project Life spread. This is week 29 and it is the year 2020. So I'm actually working on some current stuff, which I'm going to try to do a lot more of, just because while I love to go back and work on spreads from the past and relive some of those memories, I really like to get my journaling done during the moment. So I'm going to try and every week do the prior week's Project Life, now that life has hopefully settled down a little bit. So that is my goal moving forward. So see if I can keep that up. This week just happened to be the week that we were moving. So we moved out of our house. It was a Monday. So it was kind of the start of this week. So a lot of my journaling just kind of has to do with, or that I plan to write, has to do with like saying goodbye to our house, which felt like, you know, definitely went into the week. So because of this topic, here's all my photos. I thought that I would use Ali Edwards' Transition Story Kit. I thought this was a perfect kit for a big life-altering transition like moving, especially moving different states, which I've actually never done in my entire 44 years of living. So it was just a really big transition for me and my family. So I'm gonna be using the transition kit, and because there's like a ton of pieces with this kit, I wanted to show you everything that is included. So I guess I'll just start off with these because I've already opened them up. These are some speech bubbles, and I just really love that all these are different sizes, but some come with words, some come with some pattern, and then places for journaling, and then some just come with patterns. So this would be fun to put on photos, just as accents, things like that. So there's a lot of really great uses for little pieces like this in a variety of projects. Then we've got these hearts that have some like word phrases on them. I like these. They are definitely, they feel like they're translucent, but because they're black, they probably won't show that quality quite as much. I don't know if you can see that from the video, but they definitely are more translucent. And I really love how thin they are and just kind of the texture of those. So that would be nice to be able to add to some photos and things. We've got, and I haven't looked through this, we've got the chipboard, which are these big circles. It's always fun to have, you know, a variety of shapes with these chipboard. So they're all different word phrases and things like that definitely go with the transitions. And then there is some wood flowers that have the printed with some of the same colors from the kit, which is a lot of fun. I like that this is a little bit more muted, you know, some browns and yellows and blues. So we've got those. And then, of course, the cards. Oh, there's some phrase stickers here also. And yeah, these are clear, which is always fun to use the clear phrase stickers because it looks like you typed right onto your photo. So those ones are clear, so I'm just set those aside. Then we've got all of the cards and the 4x6 cards. And I'm not gonna go through all of these because you will definitely see these as I am working through the layout, because that's just, you know, that is just what I do. I always start with the photos and then I move to the cards. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're just gonna jump into the process portion and see how this goes. All right, so I am gonna start with my photos and placing them down first, and also cutting up the 3x4 photos. I do like to print 2 3x4s onto one 4x6, and I do that in Lightroom. If you're interested, I can link a video in the cards or in the eye and down below in the description so you can see how I do that. It just maximizes my photo paper, and then it allows me to only have to cut up one, or just cut one line instead of cut all the way around the photo. So I much prefer that. So now you can see that I am looking through the cards, and there's a couple things I'm thinking about, or one in particular is I actually struggled to know if I should use a transition kit for this week or for next week, because they are both really big transitions. This week we moved out of our house, and next week, or the week after this, I actually moved down to Washington with Megan. So Adam left this week that we're working on. And, you know, that was a major transition for me, and a lot of stuff happened that week also. So what I decided as I was looking through the photos, or excuse me, the cards, I was thinking, okay, what cards would be best for this week and what cards would be best for next week. So I'm going to use the same kit for the following week. I believe so. Anyway, that is my plan. And it's not going to bother me at all if I end up using a same kit back to back. You know, it's obviously going to be the same colors. It's going to have the same feel. I'm going to use similar embellishments, but I am totally okay with that because it will definitely have a different feel just based on the photos that you are using. So I definitely want to get as much life out of a kit as I possibly can. So never be afraid to do that, especially in a case like this where I feel like this is kind of one big long story. And I guess if you were doing monthly, you know, you could just, this would fit really perfectly in your monthly. But because I'm doing weekly, it is just kind of one week transitioning into the next, and I'm going to be using the same colors, and I think it'll work really well. So never be afraid to do that. I've done that in the past, and honestly, you can't even tell because I feel like so much of the photos and the stories make such a big difference to the actual weeks. It's not that big of a deal if the colors end up being the same. All right, so now that I've got my photos and my cards in place, I'm moving on to the embellishments. And I knew that I wanted to use those speech bubbles. I am a really big fan of speech bubbles. I think they're really fun. I love these that they had just some perfect sentiments for how I was feeling this week. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the hearts, but ultimately I decided, yep, I'm going to use the hearts. And I'm going to start with the title card. So you can see that I added one of the quote cards, and so I only had a 3x4 spot left. So I just decided that I would use the heart, staple it on, and that I would simply do the dates. I actually thought about doing all of the dates because I would have room on the card, but I just went ahead and did two. And you can see that I ended up doing kind of like an offset stamping, which I don't know that I necessarily needed to do. I was just trying to give that card a little something more because it was so plain. You know, either way, I could have taken it or leaving it and just done one. So, you know, totally up to you, however you're feeling at the moment. So I actually decided to just go ahead and start my journaling because I have a lot of journaling this week, which I love to be able to fit in so many stories. So it made me happy that I was able to fit in so much, even though I anticipate that I will be doing a separate spread for some of these stories. Like I really did anyone see Jenny, who's on Allie Edwards' team? She did a layout using this kit, and it was basically about moving also. And there was a hard part and an easy part. And I loved that. I told her that I was totally going to copy her. I'm like, I'm totally going to do this exact same thing. Obviously, our journaling will be different, but I just love the idea of just having a photo and then doing the easy part and the hard part on the other side of the picture. So I'm like, I'm totally just going to do that. So I'm definitely going to get more story told of this particular story of moving because it was such a big moment in our life. You know, there's one thing about, I mean, I've moved houses in the very same neighborhood. This was such a big change for us, such a big change for me, such a big change for my kids that I definitely want to make sure that I get this story told. So, you know what? I'm putting it in my weekly project life and I'm going to put it in another album, and that's totally fine too. All right, so moving on to what I'm actually working on. So you can see that I'm trying to play with some of the embellishments, having a speech bubble and one of the hearts. I actually really do like that. I think I say that a lot and then I end up changing it, and I totally end up changing it. I just end up going with the blank heart. But like watching this back, I actually do like it with the speech bubble. But one of the things I have an issue with when I'm working with embellishments and trying to put them in the right place, I don't want to have like speech bubbles stacked on top of each other. So you can see how I have a speech bubble on that 4x6 photo. And so I didn't want to have another speech bubble and then, you know, another heart under that. So I don't know, for whatever reason, like I don't want to stack too many things on top of each other. Like I want them to be kind of in a triangular shape, like very pleasing. So that was one of the things that I think I was hesitant about, is to have that speech bubble there. But as I'm watching this back, I realize it's just kind of supporting the heart. So I don't know, I might go back and stick it under there just for fun, you know, but I probably won't, honestly. Now that it's done and in the album, I will just leave it be because you'll never know. But I do end up changing it in the end. So these speech bubbles, one of the things I really liked about them is I wanted to pop them up. Like I think popping up embellishments really adds, like the dimension really adds to the layout. So I'm just using some foam tape to go ahead and to pop those up on all the cards and all of the photos. And now I'm realizing I've got one more 3x4 spot left, and then I need to finish this 4x6 card. So that photo is one that my husband sent to me, and I actually printed it out on the Canon Selfie QX10 that I did a video about. I think it was the most recent video I did. So I will have that linked also if you're interested. I just went ahead and printed that out there. Someone had asked me if I would show them how I've used it, and I only have really used it in my journal. And I just am slapping the photo down and then writing words around it. I don't really decorate it. That's not something that I'm doing right now. I have tried it. It's not really something that I love to do, because I feel like if I have to decorate a page, then I'm just not going to end up doing the journaling. And the most important thing for me is just to get the journaling down. So that's why I just stick a photo and do the journaling, and then I can leave all this fun creative stuff for my project life or other scrapbooking projects. Anyway, that was very long-winded, but my husband sent me that photo of him and our dog on the road because he left for Seattle a couple days after we moved, and it was almost a full week before Megan and I showed up because he was going to meet the movers there, and then he had some work and things to do. So he left ahead of time, so it was fun to be able to include that photo. I always love to include photos that other people are taking and adding it to our story. In fact, I'm trying to convince my kids who are in college to send me stuff so I can add it to the book, just because I feel like, oh, even though they're not living with us, I really still want them to be a part of this story. You know what I mean? So, and I would really be interested for you guys that have kids living apart. Are you adding it to your project life, or are you just really making it about what's going on with you in that moment? So I'm just kind of curious about that. Or maybe just from time to time you're doing that, and maybe that's what I'll do from time to time, just kind of show things that they're up to. All right, so I've got that card down, and then I'm just going to do one more. And I didn't include in this spread a lot of photos. So one of the things I ended up doing this week was seeing so many people that I love and that I'm going to miss, so many friends. And I should have done like a collage, and maybe I will do a collage and like do like a flip up or something like that. But that last 3x4 card, I just do some journaling, which is why I use that XO. I did some journaling about my being able to see so many friends and family before I left, and just how grateful I was to be able to have that time to be able to see them. Because of course, when you're moving, it's so hectic and you're boxing everything up. Like you just really don't have time to see anyone. So I was grateful for those few days. Well, really, I had nothing to do but see people. So I was super, super grateful for that. So that is what that last journaling piece is about. Anyway, you guys, that is it for, let's see, week 29 and the Ali Edwards transition kit. So if you guys are not Story Kit subscribers, I would totally recommend you guys checking it out. These story kits are really awesome and they have some really fun products. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. I really appreciate you supporting this channel. If you like what you saw and you have not subscribed, please consider doing so and then hit that bell so you do not miss when I post a video. Thanks again, you guys, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.